Welcome to Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help educate you about narcissistic abuse because your feelings do matter. Hi, and welcome to another podcast of Narc Abuse No More with your host, Dr. and Evangelist, K.O. Rich. Thanks for tuning in today. Today is Monday. Yes, it is Monday, April the 3rd of 2023. I pray that you've had a blessed, stress-free, narcissistic-free, abuse-free week so far, and that the remainder of this week will continue to be so as well. But if not, we're going to be talking about a few things today. Again, my name is Dr. K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More, where we're here to help you admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse, because your feelings do matter. Yes, they do. But before we go on with today's podcast, I'd like to invite you to visit us on our website at www.narcabusenomore.org. Again, that website address is www.narcabusenomore.org. And on our website, you'll find valuable information regarding narcissism, relationships, and if you have missed any of these podcasts, all you have to do is catch us in the archives. Now, just to let you know, we are on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, Castbox, and Deezer. We're also on Amazon Audible, Rumble, Brighteon, and the Tube. That's right, we are on YouTube. So you have a variety of different platforms to listen to us from. Now, just to let my SoundCloud audience know, if you do not see some of the podcasts in the SoundCloud, because we're on the free version of SoundCloud, which means we can't upload all of our podcasts on there unless we do the paid version, which I'm not ready to do just yet, then all you have to do is subscribe to an additional platform, such as the other ones that I mentioned. You can go even to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then it will alert you as to whenever we post new podcasts, in case one or we forget to upload one on the free version. All right, what are we talking about today? We're talking about 6 types of relationships and their effect on your life. 6 types of relationships. Now, we know that when you're dealing with relationships, that is a huge part of your life. And you can have close friends, you can have distant friends. And I often tell people to put people into categories. Put them into categories, because when you know the right category to put someone in, then you're not disappointed if they don't meet up to another category, because guess what? You know where they are, you know where they're supposed to be. We often put people into boxes or into categories that they never wanted to be in, nor should they be in. So it's good to know what kind of category to put a person in. Anyone that is in your life, they need to be in a particular category. Okay, some may be in more than one category, but when you don't mix it up, then you don't have the expectations of someone wanting them to be something that they're not, or desiring them to be in a particular category that they never really wanted to be in. So when you're talking about a relationship, and before I forget, I want to give you a website where you can get this valuable information we're talking about today, www.verywellmind.com, www.verywellmind.com. And when we're talking about relationships, what is a relationship? So when you're dealing with relationships, you're talking about something that two people have a connection, some type of connection. That can be a positive connection, it can be a bad connection, it can be a negative connection, but you're talking about a party of more than one, okay, where this person has a relationship, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's co-workers, whether it's members or people at your church, to be in a relationship. Now, that's not intimacy for its physical intimacy, sexual intimacy, or anything like that. But at some point, it's some type of emotional attachment, is some type of commitment involved, at least by one of the people thinking that they want to be in a relationship or have a commitment with this type of person. But you also have to understand if the other party is not committed to that relationship at all. They may it may be just a pass and go with them. But there are different types of relationships that have various different types of characteristics in that relationship. And so I want to go over 6 basic types of relationships, because most people will fall into one of these categories. Number one, the family relationship. All right, we can't help the family that you're born into. All right, so these are relationships that you're just born in. Number 2, friendships. 3, acquaintances. 4, romantic relationships. 5, there's a sexual relationship for some. 6, a work relationship. All right. Another one is a 7th one, which is a situational relationship. Okay, happens by situations. So these relationships can either be good or bad, or you shouldn't even be in some of them. All right, for various reasons. But we're going to talk about a few of these relationships and such. Another type of relationship, we're going to divide it up into 4 main categories. Number 1 is the platonic relationship. This is a friendship that may be close, but it's without any sexual intimacy, okay, without any attractiveness or any type of romance in this relationship. And this relationship is you may have somebody that's strictly platonic, okay, so it could be a male and female that's strictly platonic. There's nothing going on in sexual wise, but they're close. They have a fondness of each other. They accept each other for who they are. They're honest with one another. They support one another. They understand one another, okay, they care for one another, and there is respect in this relationship. And this can occur with a variety of different types of settings. Again, the same sex, opposite sex, or friendships. You may have a platonic relationship with a classmate or a co-worker, or it can involve an array of people. And it's important to have platonic relationships in your life, okay? People that is not anything dealing with sex. You know, we live in a sexual society where I don't want to know what everyone is doing in their bedroom. You know, the thing is that can we just have a platonic relationship without going into all the details of everything that's going on and behind closed doors in people's bedrooms, and this is healthy. This is how we are to be as human beings, where we just friendships, just basic friendships, okay, nothing sexual going on. Sometimes the people ask the question, well, can men and women be friends without any sex? Yes, you can. However, when you get married, and if you have friends from the opposite sex, that needs to also include that spouse, okay, where that spouse is okay with you being friends with this person. But at the same time, it will also change the dynamics of things. So, like, for example, I use myself for example. I've been friends with males, okay, been friends with them, but once they get married, the dynamics of that change. So therefore, I don't call, or I don't message or anything, just out of respect for this person is now married. So therefore, they need to be communicating with their wife instead of me. All right. So the dynamics of things do change when you get married. However, if the couple say, you know what, the wife, well, I have friends of the opposite sex, and then the husband, I have friends of the opposite sex, is that okay with us as long as we're respectful? And the one thing you want to ensure that even if you have friends of the opposite sex, that you're not doing anything behind your spouse's back that you would not do or say in front of your spouse. Keep it the way it should be. Another thing is make sure, especially if you're about to get married to someone, that you all set boundaries for those when it comes to the opposite sex. For us not coming to the house alone, that it maybe is inappropriate. In my eyes, it's inappropriate to go to the opposite sex alone, their house alone, when the spouse is not present. All right, so you need to establish those boundaries if you are getting ready to say I do. Another type of relationship, major type of relationship, is the romantic relationship. So these are characterized by those that may be attracted to one another. They may have deep feelings, love. They may love one another, infatuation, a type of commitment, a type of intimacy with one another. And it's important to understand, again, what category is this person in. Your spouse, okay, your spouse will be in this romantic type of relationship. However, if you are married and you're having a romantic relationship with someone other than your spouse, all right, that is not supposed to be okay with anyone. And let me just say this, because a lot of people are into these what they call open relationships. Let me just say this. I am, and this is my opinion about it, and as an evangelist, I have to speak against that. When it comes to open relationships, I believe that a lot of times people say, oh, I'm in an open relationship, especially with women. I'm in an open relationship. Why? Because they don't believe that their spouse is going to be faithful to them. So therefore, they already begin with the spirit of compromise. All right. Well, I'm going to compromise because I know he's not going to be faithful to me anyway. So that I can have the upper hand to just say that I'm giving him permission to cheat. Because that's what you're actually doing in these open relationships. You're giving the other person permission to cheat. When you go before the magistrate, the judge, or the pastor, and you say, I do, and I promise to be faithful to death do us part, blah, blah, blah. All right, you are saying that you're going to be committed to that one particular person. Nowhere in those vows does it say, oh, I'm going to be committed to you and to everyone else at the same time. All right, when you get married, if you're in the military, for example, or a veteran such as myself, when I get married, my spouse that I said I do to, all right, before God and before others and witnesses, that will be the only one that's on my paperwork to be able to make decisions or to receive benefits. All right, because there's only one person in the land of America. We only have where you marry one person. Now, the thing is, when you're talking about open relationships, you're talking actually about open cheating. And many people have devalued themselves by allowing their spouse to cheat. When you go into a relationship and you're saying, okay, I'm in this romantic relationship, I'm in this person, in this relationship with this person that I'm going to be saying I do to, we're about to get married. Okay, so now we have this romantic relationship with one another. And then you go into the relationship saying that, oh, well, I have my get out of jail free card. So therefore, if this person cheats on me, then I'm going to give them a pass, because after all, we all mess up, all right? And most of you find this with women. Well, if he cheated on me one time, then I'll forgive him. Let me just say this, and I'm going to tell anybody, and this is especially if someone wants to get into a relationship with me, I will not have a get out of jail free card. You cheat on me one time, that is the end of the road. You will not be bringing to me AIDS or HIV or anything else, okay, where I will have to die because of something that you did, all right? So the thing is that you have to go into a relationship, or it should be important for you to go into the relationship with someone who is planning on being faithful to you. I'm not going into the relationship with a get out of jail free card from the onset. All right. So therefore, I'm going to make it clear that if you cheat on me one time, that is the end of our relationship. All right. Some people may disagree with that. That is my preference, and that is where I stand. I will not be in a marriage where someone is going to be cheating on me. You hit me one time, that will be your last time. All right. I will not be in a relationship where you're going to verbally, physically, sexually, financial, or any other type of abuse. When you decide that you are ready to abuse me, you're deciding that you're ready for this marriage to end, and it will end that day. And so many people go into relationships where Oh, well, you know what? He hit me one time. Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, I'll forgive him. You hit me one time. See, you have to have this mindset that there are boundaries that you will not be able to cross. And many people find themselves in relationships that were miserable and toxic and abusive for years because they had no boundaries. They did not say, the first time you lay a hand to me, if you're not anointing me with oil, then you will never be able to do that again. You can beg, plead, all you want to do, but the day that you raise your hand to me, we will be signing the divorce papers. And so therefore, be careful of the relationship that you get in with someone on the romantic level, because sometimes people have allowed the sex to cloud their judgment. They have allowed the intimacy to cloud their judgment. They have allowed their feelings of saying, oh, I love her, or I love him. But then you have to understand, do you love yourself? Because when you love yourself, you will not allow someone to disrespect, misuse, abuse, or neglect you emotionally, physically, financially, sexually, spiritually. Come on now. We have to take ourselves off the clearance rack and put yourself on full price. You should always say to yourself, I'm never on sale. No, there will be no clearance, because I am high priced. Okay, I am worth it. I am deserving of love, and therefore, when you cannot respect me and you choose to abuse me, then I will not tolerate that. See, sometimes you're gonna and I've used this example before, that you will find certain items that you will hardly ever find on sale. For example, I'm still waiting on somebody to send me some Chanel number 5. I'm talking about the real stuff. Okay, I like Chanel number 5. All right, Chanel number 5 runs anywhere between $175 to maybe $200, depending upon where you buy it from. All right. However, the thing is that you're hardly ever gonna find that particular. I'm talking about the original Chanel number 5. You're hardly ever gonna find it on sale, because Chanel goes by its name, its reputation, and when you hear Chanel, you're thinking high end. Okay, you're not gonna find Chanel for $20 at Walmart. All right, and if you have, I've never seen it. But the thing is that Chanel's name carries weight within itself. It's just like Lexus. Lexus carries weight. Okay, you hear the name Lexus when you're talking about automobiles. You're talking about a high-end automobile. All right. So the thing is, you have to know your value. Don't put yourself on sale just because someone doesn't know your worth. You have to know your worth. You have to say to yourself, no, I would not settle. Okay, many people they get in relationships because they have settled. I will not settle. I refuse to settle. And people, will sometimes say, "Oh, your standards are too high." Your standards are not high. Now, what do I mean by that? When I'm talking about the standards, I'm talking about having, for women. Let me just say this for women. Do you want a man that you got to support financially? Do you want a man that's going to be laying at home eating bonbons? The house is a wreck and all that, and you're going out working? Or do you want someone that's going to be a provider, someone that's going to be a caretaker, someone that's going to handle the business, the affairs of the family, someone that's not selfish, someone that's going to be giving? I'm not talking about someone to use, abuse, misuse, and mistreat. All right, men. Do you want someone that's going to be treating you like a dog, talking to you as if you're a worthless mutt? Okay, now I love animals, okay? So I'm not saying this as a disrespect to animals, because I love animals. I have a dog and I have 2 cats. The thing is, you want a woman that's going to value you as the king of the house, okay? The priest of your home. Someone that's not going to be talking to you like they're your mama, all right? And even mothers will show you respect. Someone who is going to value you, someone who is not going to be a gold digger, but someone with whom you will be able to care for and will appreciate that and reciprocate that care. Someone who's not going to be in someone's face trying to make you jealous, cheating on you. I can get really, really deep with this, but I'm going to say this for another podcast, because I'm going to have a podcast that's just for the men. Men, you have to look for a Ruth and not a Jezebel. Come on now. Because you got a lot of Jezebels in the world, and Jezebel loves to control. Jezebel loves to run over men. Jezebel loves to be dominant. Jezebel, but let me just say this: your Ruth, when you study the book of Ruth, Ruth was in the field working when Boaz saw her. Come on now. Boaz owned the field, ladies. Boaz owned the field, all right, that Ruth was in. Okay, he was telling the workers what to do. Come on now. Let me just say this, ladies. If you find a man that is trifling, won't get up and work, let me just say this. He don't know how to do nothing with his hands. Okay, he can't fix anything. He can't even plant a garden. He can't hang a door. He can't change the oil in the car. He don't know how to cut grass or mow grass. He won't do nothing, just trifling. All he got is promises of a better day, but there's no reality. Come on, women, come on. Some of you are settling and you acting like they mamas, and whatever they mama didn't give them, you can't do it. It is not your job to raise your spouse. It is your job to just be the spouse that you're supposed to be in the role that God has given to you, but you can't make a man a man. Man, you cannot make a wife. Let me rephrase this. You cannot make, and there's a saying, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna put it in a way that is conducive to me being an evangelist. But I'm gonna also bring it to you as a doctor of pastoral counseling. You cannot turn a lady of the night, I'm gonna be nice, a lady of the night into a housewife. All right. She has to do that herself. She has to change that about herself. All right. Come on now. So when you're going into these type of romantic relationships, you need to know what you're getting involved in. Number 4, codependent relationships. The codependent relationship is dysfunctional. When you're dealing with a narcissist and you're a codependent, it is dysfunctional. You have this unholy alliance with this narcissist. Okay, it's emotionally imbalanced, it's physically imbalanced, it's mentally imbalanced. Okay, and you're carrying a lot of weight trying to be this caretaker for someone who can give a hoot about what you're doing. So you're trying to be the caretaker. You're going the extra mile to avoid conflict. Basically, you're walking on eggshells as a codependent. You feel like you don't have your own mind. You don't have your own opinion. You can't acknowledge your feelings, so you have to ask permission. Okay, you having to be everyone's white knight. Okay, you have to save everyone at the expense of yourself. So you're always slaying yourself at the altar. You're doing things to make everyone else happy except for you. Okay, you're always making yourself uncomfortable at the expense of others. You're feeling like you don't know who you are in the relationship. Why? Because you've lost your sense of self, because you have put on the character, or should I say you have taken I'm going to say the initiative to try to make everyone else happy in the relationship except for you. You're elevating everyone else, but you're not getting anything in return. And this is what codependency does. and it wears on you as an individual. It wears on you as a human being. It wears on you where you find yourself lost. You have been so enthroned in taking care of everyone else and take care of everyone else's needs, especially when you're dealing with a toxic relationship, when you're dealing with a narcissist, an abuser, someone that doesn't appreciate value, and they will manipulate you because of your codependency. So they suck you dry and you find yourself thirsty and wondering why can't I ever be fulfilled, because I'm fulfilling everyone else and I'm never getting my own needs met. The casual relationship. The casual relationship. When you are in, whether you're dating, this may include sex, where you're in this sexual relationship with this person. Is casual. You're saying, oh, you know what, I know that I won't get anybody who's gonna love me for me, so therefore I'm just gonna get involved in this casual relationship where it's a booty call, one night stand, friends with benefits. All right, we just hook up and then that's it. Next morning that we gone about our business, or whatever the case may be. This is often for people who feel as if they are afraid of relationships, or they feel as if I have to settle because this is all I can get. Let me just say this, ladies and men, if you cannot find someone that is totally committed to you, then don't settle for the booty call. Don't settle. And for us as Christians, we're not supposed to even be in partaking in such things until we say I do to that one person whom God has given to you. A lot of people are empty on the inside. Why is that? Because they're settling. Your booty calls are not going to be there on the holidays. Your booty calls are not going to be there normally for your birthdays, and it's just something that's going to satisfy you temporarily, but not permanently. Open relationships, and this is another thing. This open relationship, where monogamy is not a monogamous, okay, where two people have agreed to have sex with other people, and this is, again, I have said this, is that a lot of women, they'll say that they're in these open relationships. They will say or act as if they are satisfied with these relationships, but oftentimes the deep down is that they feel is that person is not going to be committed to them anyway. So research suggests that around 21 to 22% of adults will be involved in some type of open relationship in their life. And why? Because a lot of people feel as if I'm not going to find anybody that's going to be faithful to me. So my chances of being with someone is better if I give them permission to go out and cheat. Men reported having higher numbers of open relationships compared to women. People who identify as gay, lesbian, and bisexual, relative to those who identify as heterosexual, were more likely to report previous engagement in an open relationship. Most of the time, when you're talking about a male with an open relationship, it's because he wants his cake and eat it too. And then those women who go along with it is because they're afraid that they're not going to have a relationship that's going to be faithful. So therefore, I'm going to give them permission to do this, instead of feeling as if they can find someone or allow someone to come into their life that's going to be faithful. Then you have the toxic relationship, which involves some of what we just talked about, even the open relationship and the casual relationship. The toxic relationship is an interpersonal relationship where you're being emotionally, physically, financially, sexually, spiritually abused and misused. You're being ashamed, misunderstood. You're not supported. You're humiliated. It's a whole bunch of dynamics that go into toxic relationships. So these are the ones that are constantly blame. When we talk about narcissists, the blaming, they never take responsibility, the lack of support, your competitiveness in a toxic relationship. That person is not supportive of you. They're your competitor. They're controlling. They're dishonest. They disrespect you. They gaslight you. Okay, they are jealous of you. They have hostility and all kinds of other things that causes you stress. There's no proper communication, and a lot of times it can be passive aggressive behavior. These are not the relationships that anyone wants to be in. And so it is important for you to know what type of relationship are you in. What type of relationship should you put people and classify them in? And this is what we talked about earlier when it talks about putting people in their type of in the proper relationship, or should I say the proper box. Is the person that you're in relationship in, or they're a family member, okay? Is there a friendship? Is there an acquaintance? Is there a romantic? Is there a work relationship? Knowing what relationship to put people in. Let me just say this: is that some people you may say that they're an acquaintance. So therefore, if they're just an acquaintance, you normally wouldn't tell them everything about yourself. You have to understand, though, there are people that you can talk to that will be there through thick and thin, and you can tell them anything. But then there's a lot of people that are loose lips, and even though you might like them, but they talk too much. So therefore, you only give them a limited amount of information. There are people that you might say, I want to be in this relationship with, but then they're not wanting to be in one with you. So you have to understand what's what when it comes to relationship, and analyze your relationships, and don't put people in a category that they do not want to be in. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I used to think that I could not go on, and life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love. Yeah. I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. If I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Yolanda, won't you sing the song?
See, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes the silence can seem so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve, yeah. But first it's got to start inside of me. Oh,
I Can Fly, Yolanda Adams and Gerald Levert. All right, so we have been talking about relationships, 6 types of relationships. Now, there are some questions that you should ask when you're trying to define your relationship, when you're trying to see what type of relationship that you're having with someone. Number one, do you have romantic feelings for one another? Because if not, this can fall into the platonic relationship where there is no kind of sexual attraction or intimacy or anything in that relationship. Number two, what does each person hope to get out of the relationship? So when you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's a romantic or even on the workplace or whatever, what is expected out of you in that relationship? When you're on the job, okay, your boss expects you to do a good job, whatever your job is, or your work performance. Oftentimes on jobs, they will have a work evaluation that you're going to have maybe every 6 months, a year, or something like that. So what is expected out of you in this relationship? And if you're in a romantic relationship, what are you expecting out of each other? Number three, how much time do you spend together? If this is acquaintance, you may not spend that much time together. If this is an associate, you may, every now and then hang out or whatever. If this is a close friendship, you may, and let me just say this, even when you're dealing with close friendships, it doesn't mean that you're going to be on the phone every day. It doesn't mean that you're going to talk every day or you even going to see each other every day. But if there's a real friendship there, even when you don't spend a lot of time together in that relationship, you will pick back up as if there was nothing ever, no time or any distance. Now, this is different when you're dealing with a romantic relationship, because then you're talking about possibly moving into the marriage aspect of it, if that's where you all decide to go with this relationship. And again, number four, where is the relationship going? If you know that you are marriage minded, you need to also find out if the person that you're dating is marriage minded, because if they are not, and that is not in their future, and you also have to determine what is your time limit. This is not to say, okay, you better do it within 6 months or a year or 2 years. This is to say, okay, I know that, for example, I'm 48 years old. I'm not going to date nobody for no 5 years. I'm not going to date you for 2 years. I'm not going to, after 1 year, that's it. I'm not going to go beyond that. All right. I'm older. I know what I want in life. What is it that you want in life? What is it that the other person wants in life? This is not to put pressure or you have to do it within this time frame or else, but this is saying that, you know what, I've seen so many people, they dated someone for 5 years or whatever case may be, and then things didn't work out. Some did, and then they wound up getting married or whatever the case may be. But you have to find out what it is that you want out of that relationship first, and then find out what the other person wants out of the relationship, and then you all come to a meeting of the minds. But if you're dating someone with the hopes of getting married, and that person has already told you that is not in their plans, that's not in their future, or you dating someone, you want to get married and have children, but that person have told you that they don't want to get married nor have children, then there is some issue. So then you might need to redetermine or reevaluate what you want in that relationship, and make sure that you're going to be happy with whatever the decision that you have made regarding that relationship. One thing I want to say that is so important about this is to not settle. Don't settle because you feel like, well, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice. You know that you want to get married and have children. The other person doesn't want to get married and have children. You say, well, I'm going to stay with them because I won't find anybody else. No, if it's something that you want, do not settle just because. If it's something that you know that you want in your heart of hearts, then don't settle. Move on. Are you currently involved, number 5, or with or want to be involved with other people? You need to find out if that person doesn't. If you're a monogamous person and the one that you're dating or whatever, or you plan to get married and they're not monogamous but they want to have their cake and eat it too, then you know that's not a relationship that you want to be in. I know for me, you cannot date me and date somebody else. You cannot marry me and think you're going to be dipping and dabbing in somebody else, because when I find out you're dipping and dabbing with somebody else, I'm going to let you go immediately. No questions asked. How to keep your relationship healthy. If you're in a relationship and you want to make sure that you have a healthy relationship, one thing that is so important is to show appreciation towards one another. Show appreciation, show gratitude. Sometimes we take people for granted because we're like, oh, they're never going to leave. Oh, they're going to always be there. Oh, well, I can do anything I want to do because they're not going to speak up and say anything. No, appreciate the person that you're with. If you have someone that is of value, someone that is good to you, someone that treats you with respect and all those things, then show appreciation and say, you know what, I'm so happy to have you in my life. I'm so happy that, God allowed us to meet and God allowed us to come together. Show by the not just the words that you say, but by your actions. We're going to take another quick break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Count on me through thick and thin, a friendship that will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Call on me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on. I can see it's hurting you. I can feel your pain. It's hard to see the sunshine through the rain. Oh, I know sometimes it seems as if it's never gonna end, but you get through it. Just don't give in, 'cause you can. Thick and thin, a friendship that will never end. When you are weak, I will be strong, helping you to carry on. Call me, I will be there. Don't be afraid. Please believe me when I say, count on. You can count on me. Oh, yes, you can. Ooh, I know sometimes it seems as if we're standing on alone, but we'll get through it, 'cause love won't let us fall. I'll be there. Friendship that will never end. You are weak, I'm strong. Helping you, you're the woman.
Count on Me. That is by the late Whitney Houston and CC Winan. Count on me. When you're in a relationship, you do need someone that you can count on, and someone that's going to give you mutual respect. They're going to listen to you. Being affectionate and showing that you care. This is in a relationship, and this is not always romantic relationships. I'm talking about any relationship. Affection does not necessarily mean sexual, okay? Affection is, hearing somebody, loving someone, caring for them, giving them a hug, being there for them when they need it, showing interest in each other, being supportive and encouraging. There's going to be times you're going to need that arm of support, that pillar of support. You might be going through some things. They might be going through some things, and then you all can be a support for one another. Feeling empathy for each other. This is something that the narcissist does not have, or the ability to have, the ability to be and to empathize, put themselves in someone else's shoes. Spending time together. This is so important for, especially when you're talking about marriage and couples, spending time with one another, communicating with one another, sharing things with one another, being vulnerable with one another. Having healthy boundaries. You have to have boundaries, because if you don't have boundaries, then anyone will do anything and everything to you. And I often say on this podcast, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow them to do to you. So therefore, boundaries are important. How would it be if we were able to drive down any street and there were no traffic stops, there were no stop signs, there were no speed signs to let you know how fast you have to have some boundaries, because when you have those boundaries, then it allows the relationship to move smoother than it would be without it. And being able to be trustworthy. Without trust, you cannot have a healthy relationship. If your relationship is built upon deceit, then you're already doomed for destruction in that relationship. Trust is important. And when we talk about knowing how to have relationships, you also have to know what things that are important in that relationship. And trust is one of them. So today we talked about 6 types of relationships: platonic, romantic, codependent, casual, open, and toxic. Know which type of relationship you have with people. Again, the platonic is a close friendship without sex. Romantic is feelings of love and attraction through intimacy, commitment, or infatuation. Codependency is an imbalanced relationship where one partner typically takes care of the other. Casual is often involves sex without commitment. Open is a consensual, non-monogamous relationship where both parties sleep with other people. And toxic is an unhealthy relationship that harms you emotionally, physically, or psychologically. And let me just say this: when you are in a casual relationship, for as having sex with someone with no commitment, an open relationship where you're sleeping with other people, you're in a toxic relationship. And some people don't know that they are, but those two put you into the box of the toxic relationship. Know what you want in a relationship and don't settle for anything less. Know what you will not accept in a relationship and don't settle for anything less. Know that you are of value in the relationship and don't settle for anything less. All right, we are up out of here. I pray that today's podcast has been a blessing to you and that you would know your feelings do matter. This is Dr. and Evangelist K.O. Rich with Narc Abuse No More, helping you to admit what you feel in order to heal from the effects of narcissistic abuse. Until next time.